I want to share with my colleagues a concern I have about a group of people that are legally in this country that have a similar problem as the DACA registrant dreamers that we need to pay attention to. I'm strongly in support of legislation to pass to protect the DACA and dreamers. And I'll talk a little bit about that also. But there are a group of individuals who have been in this country for a long time, similar to the dreamers, who know no other country but the United States of America. They're legally here, and they also have a date on their back as a result of the Trump administration, in some cases not renewing their what's known as temporary protective status. In other cases, have deferred that decision-making on the extension of temporary protective status. In 1990, Congress passed legislation that authorized the creation of the TPS program. We recognized that there were times in which armed conflict or environmental disasters or other extraordinary circumstances would present itself where individuals would not be safe in their home country and that they would be permitted to legally come to the United States under this protective status. I'd like to call it humanitarian protective status because these conditions have continued in many of these countries for decades. Many of these people have been here for decades because the circumstances in their home country have not changed. Administration after administration has renewed their protective status, and they have been permitted to live here legally, to be able to work, to go to school. They serve in our military. They have served our nation very, very well. The numbers here are smaller than the dreamers. The total number is approximately 437,000. The largest country by far is El Salvador, which is 195,000. Honduras, about 57,000, and Haiti, about 50,000. I think the members of Congress are fully aware of the circumstances in Central America and recognize the fact that for many families, it was not safe to stay in their country because if they did, their children would likely either end up in a gang or be murdered. That the economic circumstances in these countries did not allow for economic opportunities for their families. As a result, the United States welcomed them here in a protective status, and they've become part of our economy. For the state of Maryland, this number is actually larger than the dreamer category. We have 22,500 that are in TPS status. 90% are from El Salvador, Honduras, and Haiti. It's been estimated, Mr. President, that this group contributes $1.2 billion to the Maryland GDP. They've been in our country for decades. They know no other, many of the young people particularly know no other country but the United States of America. It would not be safe for them to return to their country. And we have information about that, and I call that to my colleagues' attention. The process we go forward on extending the TPS status is that we first get the recommendation from our embassy in the country itself. And in this case, I've had a chance to review the recommendations from the embassy, and it's clear that our experts on the ground in the country felt that these families should be able to remain in the United States. And there are many reasons for that. Some is the bilateral relationship with the country itself, where the country has asked us not to return these individuals to their country because they cannot handle this population returning to the country. They don't have jobs, and the infrastructure in the country will not handle that. I think we all are familiar with Haiti and how devastated it has been by storms. They literally do not have the capacity to be able to handle the return of the Haitians, and it would be an incredible burden on the country of Haiti. There are no jobs available for these individuals. I think you're all familiar about what happened on the returning of certain individuals in Central America. If we force deportation Make no mistake about it. Individuals who have been law-abiding here in the United States, adding to our economy, part of our social fiber, believing that they're Americans, will be returned to an environment where they're going to be vulnerable to the intimidation of gangs. Without employment, many will have no choice but to choose to either join a gang or be subject to the type of intimidation and violence that standing up to the gang means, not only for yourself, but for the members of your family. That's something that we should not be allowing. So for all those reasons, and there's also the economic reasons that the recommendations have been to continue this program, the challenge is that they now have dates on their back because of the decision in some of these countries not to extend the TPS status by the Trump administration. Very similar circumstances to the Dreamers. It doesn't quite have the same amount of attention around the nation. These individuals are legally in this country. They came here legally, but they've been here for the same length of time, and they are part of our fabric the same as Dreamers. It's for that reason that the right result is to protect their legal status here in the United States, to give them a pathway to citizenship so that they can become legal citizens of the country that they know as home. S-2144, the Secure Act, was introduced by Senator Van Hollen, Senator Feinstein, myself, and others in order to accomplish that. And Mr. President, I hope that during the debate that we're having here, that we will find a way in which we can incorporate protection for these 437,000 people legally here so that they know their future is here and they are protected in the workforce. Now, as I said, it's very similar to the Dreamer issue. We know that the Dreamer issue, the crisis, the March date that we are facing, was created by the President of the United States. The DACA program was created by President Obama on June 15th, 2012. Since that date, we've had about 800,000 who have registered under the DACA program that are now legally working. They're attending schools. They are able to operate motor vehicles. They are clearly our future teachers, our doctors, our engineers, our entrepreneurs. They are very much part of our economy. In Maryland, we have 10,000 who have registered under the DACA program. They contribute $500 million to the Maryland GDP. So for so many reasons, it would just be common sense for us, I would think, without too much controversy, to pass a bill that says to the, I believe it's a total of 1.8 million, we know that you know no other home but America. We welcome you. We're going to pass legislation that protects your status and gives you a pathway to citizenship. We do that because America doesn't tear families apart. We don't say to people who know no other home but America that we don't want you to stay here, because that's what we stand for as a nation. These are the values that make America the strong nation that it is. And by the way, these individuals are contributing to the growth of our economy. All of us benefit. Mr. President, over the last several months, over a more longer period than that, I have been in the company of many of the Dreamers and many of the people who hold the TPS status. I've been at roundtable discussions in which we've had an opportunity to listen to their stories about how they view America as their home. One said that the best birthday present she ever got was when President Obama passed the DACA executive order, when she knew that she had a future in America. Others have told us stories about without the protection under the DACA program, they never could have gotten a driver's license and therefore never would have had an opportunity to advance in our economy. Others have attended our colleges. The interesting thing is, I've been in many meetings on college campuses where, for the first time, a student recognized that their fellow student was a Dreamer. They didn't know that. They just knew them as one of their classmates in school. I've been in businesses where, for the first time, employees discovered that one of their colleagues happened to be a dreamer because they didn't know that. They just knew them as a fellow employee. So let me just, this is widely supported. It's important for our economy, important for our values, keeping families together, and the American people support us on this. Poll after poll show Americans believe that those dreamers should be protected here in the United States. I want to include statements that I have received from the Prince George's and Anne Arundel County, Howard County, Montgomery County, and Baltimore City. The school superintendents wrote to me, and I quote, "Maryland is a national leader in providing students with a world-class education. Essential to our success is our commitment to providing children in our schools with a safe and welcoming environment to learn. Termination of DACA will have a direct and damaging effects on the Maryland students who are currently beneficiary. It is a direct threat to Maryland's economic stability and safety, as it will strip students of their ability to work and drive legally, pay taxes, and pursue post-secondary opportunities. Parents who lose work authorization will face deportation or be moved into dangerous underground economy, causing financial uncertainty for their families and harmful stress on their children, our students. In addition, the DACA decision could impact our ability to motivate our youth to remain committed to their education and pursuing college or careers, and will lead to the worsening economic hardships of our DACA community." Mr. President, I've received many letters of support and many testimonies from both TPS and Dreamers, but I want to just emphasize the one letter that I received from the Law Enforcement Immigration Task Force, co-chaired by Montgomery County Police Chief Tom Manger. And what he said, I think, is very important. There's a lot of reasons why we should be protecting TPS recipients and DACA recipients. But he said, we are all concerned that absent action by Congress, that this population will be driven back into the shadows and be hesitant to report crimes or cooperate with investigations. Such an outcome would risk undermining community safety. We're not safe by people going into the shadows. This is the United States of America. Why would we want people to try to hide from us? That's not the country we are. We don't create fear in the hearts of law-abiding citizens. These are law-abiding citizens. They have sisters and brothers who are U.S. citizens. They have other family members who, some are TPS, some are Dreamers, some are U.S. citizens. We don't tell families that we are going to tear them apart. That's not what America believes in. These are all individuals who have gone through security checks. These are people who have been law-abiding, complying with our laws, working, serving in our military, building this country. So, Mr. President, I know that the first order of business, and I support this, is to make sure that the Dreamers are protected. And I strongly support that and would vote for a bill on the floor right now tonight that's been introduced by some of our colleagues that protects the Dreamers in and of itself with nothing else connected to it. We should do it. It shouldn't be controversial. But I also urge us to make sure that we take care of those that are in TPS status. It's a smaller group. It doesn't have the same degree of national attention, but it's the same values, the same economic concerns, it's the same families, and it's the same issues. So I hope we find a way in which we can include both the Dreamers and TPS and protect their status here in America, give them pathways to citizenship, because it's the right thing for them, it's the right thing for their families, it's the right thing for our nation, it's the right thing for our economy. And I know that my colleague from Maryland is on the floor, who's been one of the great leaders on this issue. I know he's met with many from the community that are in both the Dreamer and TPS status. I have joined him at meetings around Maryland where we have talked to the families. And I just want to personally thank, through the chair, my colleague for all the work that he has done in order to bring this issue to the United States Senate. And with that, Mr. President, I would yield the floor.